Yo, what is going on today, guys? It is tier list season once again. It has been a week since the new set dropped, and this is going to be my first impressions of all the EXs in the game. Obviously, we have a bunch of new ones from the set. So yeah, I'm going to be remaking this tier list. This is my one from last set when Mythical Island was the main set, obviously, that just came out. I think this one was like a week or 2 weeks before the new set came out. But anyways, it is definitely time to change, as a lot of my opinions are way different. Okay, so now that I've reset the tier list, it is time to start adding everything. I have a simple S+, S, A minus, B, and C. Obviously S+ being the most broken cards, and C being not bad, but just why would you really play them? I'm honestly probably just gonna go to order. I think Venusaur is an A-. Like, before, Venusaur struggled with being one of the few EXs that needed 2 hits to KO a lot of things. And now that's really a staple for almost all of the cards. And we're in a really slow meta, so Venusaur can't prosper. But the matchups such as Charizard are just so bad in Infernape that I think Venusaur could have been A. I think just like those bad matchups like Celebi, Charizard, and Infernape really just hold the deck back from really being like super meta. Next we have Executor EX, which is honestly one of the best cards in the game. I'm going to put it in S actually instead of S+. Just because there are some things that are super broken that are above it. I think the card is good. It is probably the best going first card in the game. And yes, I mean, you get Execute an Executor on turn 1. Possibly start doing 80 damage a turn. Erica is broken. Erica counters Cyrus, which is now a big problem in the game, as you can go back to full HP. Not only that, but both Darkrai EX and Weavile are weak to grass. It's giving Executor EX an even better time. Next up is Celebi, which Celebi is S+. I didn't put this in the very top of my last tier list, and I don't know why I didn't. Celebi is broken. There's just not much to say. Celebi could do the most damage in the game. Combined with Superior, it's just, and also like it's basically the same thing as Executor. Access to Erica, and some of the best decks are weak to grass type. So next up we have Yanmega, which is a very solid A. One shots both once again Weavile and Darkrai, but also one shot stuff like Pikachu, Pachirisu, basically anything with 120 HP. It's really good when combined with Darkrai, or not Dark. I mean, theoretically could be combined with Darkrai. Just I don't see anyone doing that. But really good when combined with like stuff like Dialga, Skarmory. I've seen some people play Executor, Yanmega, which is a pretty good deck. Just an overall solid card. It's not doing anything crazy. It's just, you know, 3 energy, 120 damage is a stage 1. It's pretty good. And also, like, once again, it is a grass type, so it does have access to Erica, which is a broken card, although you really don't ever use Yanmega with Erica unless you are playing the pure grass deck. Next up we have Charizard EX, which actually got buffed all the way to S+. It is the only card that consistently one-shots every single thing in the game, besides Mamoswine with a giant cape. And Mamoswine is not anywhere close to meta, so Charizard is a menace. With the access of Pokemon communication, the deck got more consistent. And like I said, with the giant cape, a lot of things got more tankier. A lot of stuff like Mewtwo. Like, Mewtwo had the perfect 150 like attack that one-shot almost everything in the game. That is no longer the case, as like I said, the giant cape exists. So Charizard doing 200 damage, having access to Moltres was one of the most broken support cards in the game, which will also be an S, is phenomenal. Also, Dawn really helps the deck out. You can get the extra energy that Charizard might need to do 2 or 3 attacks in a row. So Charizard got literally nothing but buffs from the new set. Next up, pain me to say, bro, but I think Arcanine is actually kind of bad. It's basically just a worse Yanmega, and it has like basically the opposite problem of Charizard. Charizard got better because everything's HP got like increased. Arcanine got worse because everything's HP increased. It's not one-shotting all the things it used to one-shot. Pikachu is still meta relevant, but Pikachu is not everywhere in the game anymore, which was like one of his best matchups. So Arcanine's not bad, it's just outclassed, dude, by a lot of things. And if you're running a pure if you're running a fire deck, just run Infernape that does more damage, or Charizard. There's really no reason to play Arcanine anymore. And it's not that Arcanine's bad, like I said, it's just the meta changed. And with all the new cards such as Giant Cape and stuff, like, it's just not as good. Also, because Arcanine damages itself, it actually opens it up to getting Cyrus later on, if they do ever swap out. Next up, we have Infernape, which is a very solid card. It is, I'm definitely gonna just put it in A. It's kind of like on Mega. It's not doing anything crazy. It's just pretty solid. 170 HP, 140 damage. So combined with Geo, it does do the 150 attack, which still one-shots a lot of things in the game. It's just not everything in the game. Also, it has a really good matchup into all the grass decks. Basically, one-shots Executor EX if they don't have a cape. One-shots Celebi, one-shots Yanmega as they're weak to... Well, actually, Yanmega isn't weak to fire, but it only has 140 HP. It's a solid card. It's just it's a worse Charizard, to be honest. That's like the only downside of it. It does have a free retreat cost, but I think if Charizard didn't exist, I think Infernape would be playing... Why can I not like structure the sentence right? I think if Charizard didn't exist, Infernape would be seeing more play. I don't know why that took me so long. But anyways, yeah, it's not bad and it's not insanely broken. It's just a pretty solid card. Also, another thing about Infernape is it does 140 damage, obviously, and that's really good, as obviously Darkrai and Weavile are both 140, and also Magnezone is 140 HP, which is like the menace right now in competitive play. So that's just like another bonus that Infernape actually has that nice damage. Next up, we have Blastoise. Blastoise got a small buff of Manaphy, so you can ramp up the deck faster. And Pokemon Communication also lets you search Blastoise faster. The only thing about Blastoise is it gets outclassed by both Gyarados and Palkia. Where like Blastoise, yeah, it does 20 more damage or 10 more damage than both of them, but the abilities on those Pokemon's attacks are just way better than doing an extra 20 damage or 10. So, like I said, like it's basically like a similar position to Arcanine, where Blastoise isn't bad. It's just there's better things that just are just better than like literally barely just do Blastoise's job but better and less energy. And at least for Blastoise, it does do 160 damage more than Arcanine, so it does actually one-shot more things in the meta. Next up, we have Starmie EX, which I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna have to make a new tier list because actually no, never mind. I was gonna say I don't know where to place this, but I think I'm gonna place it in A. I think it's solid. It's doing the same thing Starmie did. There's Starmie Palkia decks that are a thing. Maybe it could even be A minus, but 2 energy 9. It's still good. I don't know where to place Starmie. I don't think it's... I can see it either being A minus or A, so just keep that in mind. I actually really don't know. It's kind of just Starmie, but it's just doing its own thing. Next up, we have Articuno, which actually I feel like got a buff because Manaphy and also Cyrus, so I think Articuno actually is an A card. Not only that, but 18 card Articuno decks are starting to pop up again, which is very funny. How we're kind of like going back in time when like Genetic Apex first came out and that was a thing. So I think Articuno is insanely good. It's just not super broken. Like 80, I think if it did more damage, it would be S+. 80 damage is nice, and then obviously the 10 damage is Access Cyrus, so it's a really good card. It's just not doing anything like super crazy. Plus Palkia just does its job better. Now we have Lapras EX. Lapras sucks. It's just a worse Articuno. Does 80 damage, it heals itself. Yeah, it's just not that good. I mean, you could ramp it up faster with Manaphy like a turn early. But if you're going to be placing a basic water Pokemon that has 140 HP and 1 less retreat cost and is just better overall because Cyrus, just play Articuno. A lot of the promo cards kind of suck, but I think Lapras might probably be the best promo card as we only have Cresselia EX, so I believe that's the only promo. Yeah, I think Cresselia EX is probably just better slightly because it has access to psychic types, but anyways, we have Gyarados S+, doing the same thing Gyarados was doing last season. 180 HP, so it's super tanky. Obviously it's the water type, so it's access to Misty. Being played with Greninja and Gerudogon. The deck got a little bit better because of Cyrus becoming a thing, so Greninja can like shuriken something and then Gyarados can drag it in and like defeat their thing that they might have been like saving to beat Gyarados. So the deck is just broken. And speaking of broken, we have Palkia EX played with Manaphy and Vaporeon. Sometimes I see Manaphy Starmie. 150 damage is 150 damage. You discard the energy, but you do 20 damage to all the bench Pokemon. Basically makes everything vulnerable to Cyrus. So, and you could ramp it up super fast with both Misty's and Manaphy. And Yeah, it's broken, dude. It's basically just a faster Mewtwo EX that's better. Next up, we have Pikachu EX. Pikachu EX is still like S plus, like theoretically, or not S plus, but S. I think it just kind of fell off the meta because there's just like less things, and I feel like we're in a more defensive format with like Druddigon and Darkrai. I think Darkrai literally is the reason Pikachu is like not having as much success, because if there's like a Druddigon, then you attack into it and like knock it off like a Geo in one hit, the Darkrai just comes out and like finish you off wherever it can attack. So Pikachu is not bad, it's just in a really weird spot in the meta, and I don't really know how to speak on it because I know it's doing bad when the best Pikachu player who's won like 12 tournaments is not playing Pikachu right now, is experimenting with other decks. So I think Pikachu's going through a little rough patch. So dude, it might be A actually. I think if we're just talking about EX cards, it's S, but if I think we're looking at the meta, it would be A. But I'm just gonna leave it an S now because I have a feeling Pikachu is gonna like make a comeback somehow. Nah, I'm gonna leave it an S. Yeah, I think Pikachu is still broken. Next up, we have Zapdos EX, which is a very solid A. It can technically get the Hurricane attack online faster because of Dawn. So Zapdos might be seeing more like use in actually attacking it rather than just being like a wall that's not weak to fighting for the electric decks. Combine that with Pachirisu, which I think is a very solid. Dude, I almost want an A plus tier. You know what? Yeah, I need an A plus tier because I don't want to put these in A. Let's see, A plus, bro. I think Pachirisu is a solid A plus card. It is another card like Articuno that is getting played in these 18 card trainer decks. And yeah, actually, I'm gonna move Yanmega up too because I think Yanmega is a little bit better than. And I could also see Pikachu being an A plus, just because of what the meta is. Yeah, I think because of what the meta is, I'm gonna put Pikachu actually in A plus. But like, if something happens on the meta, I can definitely see Pikachu coming back up to S because it didn't get worse. Next up, we have my favorite Gengar EX, which I've talked so much shit about on this channel. Gengar actually pretty solid. I mean, it has the same problem Venusaur used to have, where it didn't really one-shot a lot of things. Now a lot of EX Pokemon don't one-shot a lot of things, and it actually removes access to stuff like Cyrus, so it's actually pretty decent. Plus, you could definitely get Gengar EX online faster as you have access to both Pokemon Communication and the mythical slab item cards. So yeah, I mean, Gengar is nothing crazy. It's definitely solid. I don't see it doing super good. Maybe I should change this like the B plus to A minus. Maybe I should do that. Maybe this should be like a. Maybe it should be like a B plus, because like I think these EX cards are fine. I just don't think they're A. Like, I think they can definitely have success in tournaments, but I don't think you're gonna be seeing like 10 Gengar decks suddenly in like top 32. I think you might see like one in there occasionally, and like same with like Venusaur, Blastoise. Next up, we have Mewtwo EX, which was the king of the game for so long. I think Mewtwo is A plus. I think theoretically it is pretty solid as it one-shots a lot of stuff. So like Moltres, Pachirisu, Pikachu, Yanmega, Darkrai. But Darkrai is everywhere, dude, and Mewtwo struggles with that matchup. So I think if we're talking about just EX Pokemon in general, it's an S, but I think if we're looking at the meta right now, I think it is an A plus Pokemon. It's just not getting played, dude. There's too many dark decks in the meta. And this is what literally everybody was talking about. Once dark decks actually got good EXs and started becoming a thing, Mewtwo was gonna have a hard fall off, which it did. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Mewtwo had a comeback similar to Pikachu at some point. I feel like a lot of people are just playing the new decks, and maybe in the next week or two we will see Mewtwo players come back. So I'm gonna keep it an A plus. But like I said, Pikachu and Mewtwo both could have gone up to S, as we've already known how strong they are. Next up, we have Mew. I actually think Mew is kind of worse because it's good against Charizard, but it's not good against, like, it's decent against Palkia, but the giant cape basically lets a lot of Pokemon like Mewtwo or Mew would copy just live. And I just don't think seeing it being as good as it used to be. Although I think if you have a deck like such as like Dialga that can have room for Mew, I do think you definitely can play it and you can have success with the card. But I just feel like there's a lot of like energy hog decks nowadays, which you don't really need to. Plus, it's not really get into like that Dark Red Magnezone deck. And then we have Mismagius. I think Mismagius is a solid B+. I don't think it's anything crazy. Confusion is just a gimmick. It's probably one of the best gimmicks in the game as it doesn't go away. Kind of like forces your opponent to swap out. But it's only doing 70 damage. Potentially could be A, but I think it's B+. I think it's just solid. I don't think it's bad at all. Next up, we have this Cresselia, which is complete garbage. Complete garbage. It's just not good at all. Like honestly, dude, like if you're running a EX, like a Psychic EX Pokemon that's a basics, just play Mewtwo. Like there's no reason to play Cresselia. It's not good. And same with Machamp. I honestly would not be playing Machamp. You can like actually get it more consistently online. It's like pretty nice with Lucario, but like Machamp, Lucario, you're banking like on drawing the evolution so fast, because if you don't draw the evolutions, that deck does not do anything. So I think Machamp is just kind of like not as good. It's really just not as good. I feel like it fell off pretty hard. I feel like there's like a lot of better things just came out. Speaking of stuff, I think Marowak is officially just pretty bad. I don't think it's like, no, obviously it's not garbage, but I think it's pretty mid. It's all right. It's like Arcanine. There's just better stuff to run. Aerodactyl, probably. Dude, I don't know. People just don't play Aerodactyl anymore. It's like I think it's honestly, Aerodactyl is probably a solid B+. No, I think Aerodactyl's A. I think the evolution can I think it's A. I think it can come up in some matchups. I think other matchups is kind of useless. But I'm pretty sure like Lucario and Aerodactyl EX is like a thing or something. And you know, Aerodactyl doing like 100 to 120 damage. That's kind of decent for 2 energy, so I'm gonna put it at A. But I feel like it's not as good as it used to be. I feel like back when Mythical Island was like at the end of its road, it was like pretty solid in those fighting decks. But nowadays, I don't think it's like as strong. I think Gallade EX is one of the another B+ cards. I think it just doesn't do enough damage. Like you basically have to combine it with Lucario. But then if you combine it with Lucario, that takes up a lot of deck space as it is a stage 2. And you can't run stuff like Marshadow and like Hitmonlee in it. And then if you don't run Lucario, you're really not doing that much damage. Like you don't even one-shot a Skarmory with Gallade EX, which is a stage 2 EX Pokemon. I don't think there's any other EX Pokemon that doesn't one-shot like a Skarmory, for example. I guess Mismagius wouldn't either, but it's a stage 1. Yeah, every other stage 3 or stage 2, I mean, would one-shot something like that. And yeah, I think it just doesn't have enough damage. Like the 170 HP on it is really good, but besides that, it doesn't really have anything like too unique for it. Next up, we have Weavile EX doing 70 damage for 1 energy is really good. Only that, but it's combined with Darkrai, which is one of the best EX, if not the best EX in the game. So yeah, 1 retreat cost. It's a stage 1, 140 HP, very nice. Obviously, you know, good against Psychic, so it'll destroy stuff like Mewtwo and Mew. But yeah, and then Darkrai. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting played in the deck of only Greninja, Druddigon, and then like that EX Pokemon, you already know you're gonna be busted. So you know, Darkrai just sits behind stuff, starts chipping stuff at 20, and then you basically can't swap out that Pokemon because Darkrai can just come in later for Cyrus and destroy you. 80 damage, 3 energy, pretty nice. Like it's nothing crazy, but it's basically his ability is broken. Putting the energy on it to do putting the energy on it to do 20 damage is just a broken ability. Next up, we have Dialga, which is something I played around personally a lot. I think Dialga is definitely an A+. I don't think it's anything crazy. I think it struggles really, like it's not like unwinnable, or it's not like a game killer if you do go first with Dialga, but I think going first like is really bad with the card. I think it's pretty solid. Actually, no, it's probably an S tier card, honestly, because Dawn 100 damage is actually pretty decent. Really tough is B, not bad, just better stuff. Same with Pidgeot. Pidgeot is very similar to Arcanine, where I feel like Yanmega just does its job better. Because it's Yanmega is also colorless, so is Pidgeot. Pidgeot's max damage is like 140, but it has to have a full bench. Yanmega just does 120 off the rip. So if you're gonna be playing like Pidgeot, Dialga, just play Dialga, Yanmega instead. And then Licky is the only Pokemon I personally don't have experience with, but I've been told by a lot of people this card is very good. So I'm going to put it in A. I'm just gonna put it at the top of A. This isn't really ordered, but I don't have any experience. Reading its ability, it could either be S plus or it could be something like B plus. But I've only heard great things about it from people. But like I said, this is the only Pokemon I really don't have experience with. Anyways, yeah, I think this is like a pretty accurate list. Like I could see definitely some stuff moving. Like some of these A pluses can go to S. Some of these A's possibly could either go up or down. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this list. And I think I'm pretty happy with this list, to be honest. There's not really much I would change. Like the Mewtwo and Pikachu placings are so weird because I'm like, maybe it's just like a nostalgia thing. But like Mewtwo, I have not seen Mewtwo anywhere in the meta. So I have no clue, but maybe that's just a blind eye for me. Maybe it is in the meta and I just haven't been seeing it, and like I haven't been running into it. But anyways, yeah, I think this is my tier list. If you guys have any different opinions, let me know in the comments, and peace out and have a lovely day. Okay, after thinking about it, there's actually two changes I want to make. Well, first off, I actually took Dialga from S and I actually moved it down to A plus. I do think it's still a pretty solid card. But it's time to stop coping. Pikachu and Mewtwo are both kind of bad, dude. Mewtwo mainly because I just feel like the dark decks. And then Pikachu because like the best thing about Pikachu was being able to retreat basically, and you know, do like your damage, take a hit, retreat, go for like another Pikachu. Cyrus kind of just prevents Pikachu from doing that. And also Pachirisu is probably an A. I don't think it's an A plus. So I think this is the final version. Yeah, I think just the meta is the reason Pikachu and Mewtwo are so low. Like maybe if like a better grass deck ever comes out and kind of like, or like maybe if like, I don't know, if like Darkrai gets solved, bro, and like Weavile like goes out of the meta, Mewtwo can come back. I can see Mewtwo coming back up. Pikachu's kind of rough because I think Pachirisu is probably just a more consistent and better one because you just play like 18 card Pachirisu. But yeah, these are the final changes I just wanted to make real quick. Also, I will probably, no, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's just everything I wanted to say. I feel like every time I make one of these EX tier list videos, like I make it and then I realized I just like put something in like a wrong spot like I just did, and then I'll upload it and then like I'm like, okay, well maybe I should have moved this to this, but I don't care. This is my finalized version. I think if anything, Pikachu has potential to be A or A plus. Like I could see it coming back at some point. But I think this is finished. Maybe Venusaur could be A minus. I don't care. Whatever, bruh. This is it.